When someone says the word experience to you, what do you think of? To some, experience is knowledge or subject matter expertise. To others, experience is about how do you engage with things and how do you encounter them. At VISIE, we think experience is critically important. When we think about healthcare today, we see that surgeons are asked to do more procedures in less time for less money. And one of the things they turn to is technology to help out with the challenges of the market. And if we look at this Bain & Co. study from 2022, we see that 98% of orthopedic surgeons and 95% of neurosurgeons say they're interested in using robotics to treat their patients. And if we think about the surgeon's experience, we see something like this. In a total knee replacement, the surgeon will have to make extra incisions, drill pins in the bone, place arrays, and then go through a lengthy manual registration process to take data points on the surface of the anatomy to train the enabling technology where things are. And when you think about the patient experience, I think about my father. Several years ago, I took him to get his knee replacement done, and he said, "Doug, what kind of surgeon did you take me to? He operated on my thigh and my ankle. What's wrong? He couldn't find my knee?" And we chuckled about that. And then you realize that's a bad patient experience. It's also a bad surgeon experience. And when we go beyond that, the literature supports that there's challenges associated with today's tracking technologies. Pin site fractures, infections, also the inability to understand where soft tissues are. And it's so severe that the FDA actually issued a warning or a safety communication that says the use of today's tracking technologies can result in patient death, life-threatening injuries, failed, aborted, or prolonged procedures. Now, when we think about what we see in a procedure, you and I see a knee and a drape and a retractor and some pins and arrays. But what does our technology see? It sees this: a handful of reflections in space, hardly robust optical data. And so what I'm asking you to do is to see the problem that everyone ignores. And at VISIE, we think it's time to see the patient. VISIE invented a new way of 3D scanning. Here's a single scan done in a fraction of a second, 1 million data points, size, scale, color accurate. Enough data to create a superposition to the preoperative image. And the benefits it's yield are pretty dramatic. In the same time, a surgeon can manually register a femur with 40, 100, or 350 points. In the blink of an eye, VISIE takes 376,000 data points, orders of magnitude more precise. Objective, not subjective. And because we invented this new way of spatial computing, we can change the form factor and the utility of the device based on the specification and the specialty. And we're proud of our work, and we've gone through great lengths to protect it, filing IP around the world. Actually, we're coming off a sprint right now where we filed something like 16 patents in the last 6 months. And you think about the market opportunity, I would challenge you to think not just about the upside of selling a scanner to a hospital, but rather the impact of offering a differentiated technology to surgeons who are craving technology to help them with their surgical burden. And if we take one specialty, orthopedics and knees, and you can move a market share, a very little amount, that has a huge impact and upside. Then when you multiply that across hips, shoulders, spine, or cranial procedures, the numbers become bewildering. So back to the product. Here's a scan in infrared. Why infrared? Well, the OR is flooded with light, and it would be untenable to ask surgeons to turn off the OR lights to function during a procedure. Here's a hip. I stood in front of 150 orthopedic surgeons at Anterior Foundation. They stood up and applauded us the Innovation Award for being able to create a superposition with a pelvis with an optical scan. In a glenoid with a scan the size of a quarter or $50, you get 12 or 14,000 data points. Easily enough data to create a superposition to the preoperative image to be able to execute against the patient. Here's a pig in the office, 6 to 8 inches of adipose tissue. We shoot down, catch the side of the lamina, and boom, snap in the preoperative image. When we think about cranial procedures, in brain, where millimeters and microns of measurement matter, we can tell you where the soft tissue has shifted during the procedure. And we're excited about the application there. I started by talking about experience. And we care deeply about experience. We care deeply about surgeons. When we talk to surgeons, they say, simplifying image registration would be huge. We need robotic systems that save time and tissue. Pinless robotics would be the holy grail. Pinless robotics would be the holy grail. So I'm excited today to bring you something special. It's something the engineering team calls technical feasibility. It's something the marketing team calls proof of concept. It's something a whole bunch of surgeons have told us is the holy grail. I stood at AAOS, the big orthopedic conference, a year ago today, and an industry expert looked me in the eyes and said, Doug, give up on this problem. It's impossible. And I'm very pleased to stand in front of you all here today and say what was once impossible is now possible. What did we just see there? It's something we're calling continuous anatomic auto tracking. Want to see it again? We're really excited about this. This is registering and finding a location of the anatomy, understanding what it is, and doing it over 25 times a second. For fun, we mounted it to a robotic arm. And when we think about this, what might this enable? Pinless, robotic-assisted surgery. When we think about the application, we're excited about no pins, no rays, no hassle. Creating a better surgical experience for patients and surgeons. Our go-to-market plan has us with partnerships, software and hardware, and selling things to hospitals. I'm going to end with this, which is really critically important to me. The team. There's a group of individuals that wake up every day and push the very edge of what is scientifically possible so that we can do a better job in surgery. And that look in the face of seeing something that's impossible and saying we can figure that out, and we will figure that out. My name is Doug Fairbanks. This is VISIE. There's more to see.